All right. It's that time. It's time for Beyond Sight and Sound. Let's do this.
Are you looking for a high-quality beach and sand scoop? Are you trying to take your hunting to the extreme? How about an American-based company that stands behind their product and everything they sell? Then check out our friends over at XTREME Scoops. John has been making scoops for some time now and makes a quality beach and sand scoop to take your hunting to the next level. XTREME Scoops recently released their new sand shredder that works great in the water and on the beach. And if you're a new Equinox user, you may want to check out his Surfmaster X3 that can trap those small targets you new Equinox users are finding out there. XTREME Scoops' company approach is let's do it right. So do it right, buy it once, and go to the extreme. XTREMEScoops.com. That's XTREME scoops.com. Caution. Please do not operate motor vehicles or power equipment while under the influence of this show. Listening to this show could cause side effects such as bouts of laughter, violent binges of cabin fever, and even dreams of silver and gold. Please be advised. Now that the fine print is out of the way, on with the show. Fine print is out of the way. It's time to roll with the show. We're back and we're live once again. You are listening to Beyond Sight and Sound, metal detecting and treasure hunting radio for all the really cool digging people out there. Really cool digging people like Ohio Relic Hunter, who says that his in-studio cam worked well tonight. Nice. We see that Randy Barnhouse is in. Welcome to Hambone, Elusive, Barb, The Bills, Chuck, I saw him in there too somewhere along the way, Nelson, Elusive. Let's see here. I think I'm covering them all okay. May have missed a couple, who knows. If I did, well, it happens. I'm kind of hitting the ground running here. Actually, I was off doing some other things online and lost track of a minute or two at times. So we're a little fashionably late tonight, but that's all right. That's all right. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And also we see that Suki and Michael are in the house as well. Welcome aboard to them too. Well, so links in the description. First and foremost, our friends over at Shooters and Prospectors, our friends at XTREME Scoops, our friends at DETECTEES.com, Ken, Mark, Darth Buddy doing a great job, TheRingFinders, All Metal Militia Facebook group, Detect Ed Outdoors YouTube channel, Ohio Metal Detecting YouTube channel, Metal Detecting NYC YouTube channel, Crazy Spider Adventures YouTube channel, the Simplex raffle link. Yes, it does still run. Great way to get yourself into a Simplex if that's what you're looking for. $5 a ticket, straight across the board. Online sales, welcome. I think they've got that available for local as well. I'm going to imagine it runs much like the Cordova Firefighter raffle did. That detector raffle we did recently a while back. The link for the Swing Into Summer event, the link to the event flyer, as well as the link to the East Coast Research and Discovery Hunt, East Coast Research and Discovery Association hunt, their beach hunt. And that one has 44 pounds of silver going into the ground. Good grief, that's a lot of silver. I can't even imagine how long it's going to take to seed that beach. So, good luck to them. I'm sure it's going to be a good time. We always hear good things about it, definitely. And normally, with Chuck being a multi-line dealer, he stays pretty busy, but I see that today he happened to have a little bit of a chance to get out and do some grilling. Even though I'm sure it was a little on the chilly side, definitely. And congratulations to Barb on her 1898 Indian. Yes, that's right. She has finally dug another Indian, thus ending the bet between her and Cody. Even though it took like 42 years. Well, okay, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but I swear it took like 2 years. And the thing is, it wasn't even... It's been so long ago, I can't even hardly remember. I don't think it was even necessarily a bet to see who dug there first, because I believe Cody has already dug one at some point. We know Barb has dug 2, at least, prior to this. It was just who was going to find the next Indian. So for the last 2 years, myself, Chuck, the Bills, many, many others have been tagging Barb and Cody every time they find an Indian. Everyone else was finding them, just not either of them. And today, Barb knocked it out of the park. Took the bull by the horns and got her Indian. And she says Cody hasn't dug any, period. So Cody's still on the search for his first. And contrary to what some people may think, Barb has dug Indians before, but they've been few and far between for her. I do believe this makes number 3 for her. So congratulations, 1898. Good job. And she just had a killer weekend. I mean, she's made some good finds this weekend, definitely. Definitely made some good finds. And let's see here, what was that? I thought I saw somebody said something about, well, I know there for a while Cody hadn't been detecting for a while. But who knows? And we've had some good weather days here in Ohio, but unfortunately, it comes to an end. Here soon, Illinois will be being hit with some more harsh weather, and as those that listen know, they're very giving, sharing people in Illinois. And they love to share everything, so when that bad weather comes in, they push it right across to Ohio. And then likewise, we don't want to seem greedy, so we push it on out to the Northeast. Or the New England area. Or at least that's what I try to do. We can't keep it in Canada, so... Some people may like for us to send it to Florida, but I just can't get it to make that turn. I mean, it's gradual. You do things gradually. Definitely. And I see Mike's in. We got Aqualand relics in the house. Good to see. Well, so yes, Barb has had an absolutely stellar weekend. I would say. The cross cannons, the token, the Indian was just kind of the highlight, so to speak. That really put her over the top, I do believe. Not that the other finds weren't cool, not that they were any less significant or anything like that. But for many of us, I'm sure that we were glad to see her get that Indian, because now we can finally stop with all this silliness. At least for a little bit. At least for a little bit. I mean, I'm sure that odds are potentially very, very good, actually, that the next one of us that may find an Indian, we may still tag Barb and Cody in it. I know Chuck was even getting into the action there a little bit himself there for a while. Oh, let's see what happens here. See, you look away from the screen, and all of a sudden somebody tries to jump in on you, but I think we've got the pirate herself. Maybe, I don't know. Who did we get? We snagged somebody. Go ahead, call her.
You got me.
Oh, we do have you. How is it going, Barb? Congratulations on your weekend. Congratulations on winning your bet. And congratulations on your finds. It's been a long, tough road, but you got there.
2 years. Oh, Bill Marsh is on. He just bet me $20 he'll find a gold coin before I do.
Wow. Well, I don't know. That's going to be a tough one to drag out, and I'm sure that Bill's he does have the potential of running across one, obviously. I mean, so do you. But this one could drag out for a while, I think, and I think you don't have to be near as concerned with being tagged every time somebody finds a gold coin, because it's not like it happens all that often.
No, it doesn't. It was a stellar weekend. And I tried to show in the video, but it's really hard. I'm about 50, 60 feet above the road, and that's where they're bulldozing.
Yeah, I had seen the post the other night. You knew they were moving ground, and you wanted to get up there this weekend. And I was so hoping that you could make the time to get out there and do some digging, and it paid off well.
It did. Actually, I found a beautiful blue mason jar on the top of the ground. There, people threw bottles in one of the areas, and when I showed in my video, I'm like, I think it's blue. Well, it's that light aqua blue. And I dated it to like 1910 to 1923, so 100-year-old bottle.
Even better. Even better. You can't beat that, and I'm sure you'll, well, even if it is damaged, you'll still put it to good use.
No, it's actually 100% intact.
Nice, even better.
I found tons of pieces of them today. I didn't shoot. I just shot the top of the lumber company. But behind the pile of dirt, it goes down to the road. And I just was walking around and looking. I got some really cool looking glass. But that mason jar, no, I will not use that mason jar for art. It is beautiful.
I saw that.
I will not do that because it was sitting literally on the top of this bank, and I crawled up there and got it, and I'm like, I'm sure this is blue. And then I found some other bottles. One's a pharmacy bottle, but it's a screwed cap, but I think it's like very early screw cap, so probably like 40s, 50s, and it says pharmacy on it. And I found no soda bottle. So I was just scrounging around, and I had this lady stop and say to me, and I knew who she was. She doesn't know I knew who she was. She was like, "Can I ask you what you're doing?" And I said, "I'm just metal detecting, looking for stuff." And she goes, "But are you finding anything?" I'm like, "Yes, ma'am. I'm trying to save what I can from the lumber company, because once they bulldoze this in the next week or two, everything's gone.
Yeah, unless you can figure out where they're taking the spoils to.
Yeah, and she looked at me, she goes, well, I don't know if you go to church, but our church is right up the road if you'd like to go. And I'm going, I knew you were from that church because I seen you up there before. And no, thank you. But I just looked at her and I went, thank you very much, and went back to digging.
Well, it sounds like you've done very, very well for yourself this weekend. I hadn't, Facebook has been kind of hit and miss for me here the last couple of days, so I haven't really caught all of the videos. I didn't see the bottles. I didn't see the video of that, or somehow missed it. I don't know. But still, you did well.
Well, I actually and took a bunch of videos, so I'm going to put a YouTube video together, hopefully this week. And so a lot of it was on my, camera and not on my cell phone. This is weird. Yesterday it was sunny, partly cloudy, and it let me go live. And today it was really overcast, and it would not let me go live.
Right.
And so
funny how that works.
I did shoot it on my phone because I forgot my camera today, and I did video at the site. And the minute I got home, I posted those before I posted, a go live with my finds to show, hey, and that Indian, this ground is terrible. I tried the Knox today for like 30, 40 minutes, couldn't get the headphones to pair, and everything I dug was junk, and I threw it back in the car and got my Deus. And the spot where I found the cannons, and I found a button there, and I found some other things there yesterday. I've decided they're at the back door of the houses, and I just kind of walked that line, and there was the Indian and the Buffalo Nickel.
Now, and you found the cross cannons and the Indian and the Buffalo with the Deus then? Mm-hmm. And what frequency were you in? What VDIs did these show up like, for those that may want to know?
That's funny. I can tell you. No, seriously.
Right, you're going, I don't know.
No, I'm using CT Todd settings, okay? Because if you use any of the built-in programs, I've tried them all there, you hear nothing at all. And the Indian was coming up 54, 60. It was bouncing, but it had, I'm a sound person.
Right.
And that's why I gave up the Knox. I'm like, I gotta have headphones. And I'm just walking every which way, walking in circles, and I'm like, ding, ding. It's the sound. I'm like, there's something good there. There's something good. And I'd get a number every now and then, but it was like 54, 70, depending. And I dug it, and I pulled this like 8-inch nail. And
right.
I'm like, that's not what I heard, because nails will give you like 99. And then I swung it again, and I put my pinpointer down, and I pulled about an inch tack. And I'm like, nope, that's not what I heard. And I swung again, and it was loud and clear. And it was about 6 inches down, and they've removed about 2 inches of dirt there. And when I pulled it, I went, I know it's an Indian. I know it is. I know it is. And I forgot my toothbrush, so I couldn't get it clean on the side. Because I used my toothbrush to clean my blue bottle before I went digging. And I got home, I went, where's my toothbrush? And I went, it's in the bucket with the bottle, and yes, it was.
Right. Oops.
Yeah, but there are tons of tacks. and I found the Indian, and literally I have hit this area for 7 hours between yesterday and today, and moved 2 feet away and just kicking dirt because, bulldozer, it's like a snow plow. You get this line of foot tall dirt. And so I'm just kicking it here and there. And I'm like, oh, there's something good there. And it was a buffalo nickel.
Nice.
I did spit and rub it on my jeans. Okay. We had snow the other day. We've had so much rain. This is red clay junk dirt like Culpeper, and you can rub till the cows come home. And sorry, I had to come home and soak it and scrub it and soak it and scrub it, and I could on sight read the 8 and the 9, so I knew it was an engine.
Nice. Very nice.
But I found some buttons down on the edge. I think they're Pharmagene buttons or overall buttons. It's beautiful on one side, but it's like iron on the other side. But when you look in, these people were there 100 to 80 years ago. I really think they're Pharmagene buttons. And I found some, they were like a half inch under the dirt where they removed 8 inches of dirt.
Right. Well, still, it sounds like you did very well.
Yeah, I got bottles. I don't know how many buttons. I got the coins. I got the cross cannons. I got the token. And there's some other stuff I do. This is funny. T-buckles, and it came out green. Never found one in this area. That obviously predates the lumberyard.
Nice.
I would think. I mean, it's the kind of stuff you find like in Virginia, more 1800s. So I did find that little D-buckle like 2 feet from the cross cannons.
Well, you can't beat that.
It was killer. It was like the best. Last year stunk. For me, personally, metal detecting, it just stunk. And this is like the best day I've had in like a year and a half.
Right. Well, it's about high time.
And now, the funny thing is, Cody and I never said what we were going to give the other person if they won.
Right.
It was like, we'll think of something to send each other. So I did already ask him what he wanted to bet on next.
Well, it kind of sounds like you've already decided to pick up one with Ohio Relic Hunter there.
Oh, yeah. Bill will win this one. I'll never find a gold coin unless I find it in Virginia.
Right. Well, you never say never. You never know.
Yeah, you never know. I would never, I have not found anything but pennies and tokens till I found that buffalo today.
Right.
So there's more there, but there's Todd's setting, when you're running over the ground, it is just iron grunt. It's like having the AT Pro in iron audio. That's all you hear, and then you'll hear this think, and I just keep playing, and it's like, that's not a good signal, I'll dig it anyway, and it's a nail. And then it's like, no, I'm getting numbers, I am digging this.
Yeah, absolutely. And Connecticut Todd's settings are, it is a good program to run in certain places. I'm going to assume you probably started out in 8 or 12 kilohertz, probably 12.
I don't know. I never changed it, and I hadn't thought. I don't know. He's my setting. I turn it on, and I just go. And I know I've tried changing the frequencies there and didn't do so good. And I've played with these settings, and so I'm just to the point, I just go with his settings.
Right. Well, nothing wrong with that. They're tried and true out there in the field. They work well for Todd. And people can find those settings on his website, too, at cttodd.com.
And I can tell you, I've changed frequencies, I've changed settings, I've used the XY screen, I've used just about everything, and it's like I just keep going back to his settings without doing any changes because I'm finding the most.
Well, exactly. And if it's not broke, don't fix it. If it's working for you, keep running with it.
Yeah, and Chuck was saying I probably need to charge my headphones for the Knox. I did that. I charged the headphones, I charged the Knox, and I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but I just couldn't get them to pay her no matter what I did. But it was probably an omen.
Yeah, I don't know. I've actually, once I paired my headphones to the Equinox, I left them like that. I've never had any problems with them pairing.
Well, I did when I first got it, and then Joe showed me some stuff, and it worked, and I've tried it today, and it just wouldn't do it. I don't know why. It's why you never leave home with just one detector.
Right, yeah. And I guess, try to, if it's been a while since you've used the Knox, try to charge up the headphones and give her another shot, and maybe you'll be all right then.
Yeah, I will. And I'm like praying for like snow and rain all week so they can't move dirt, but I don't think I'll get my wish. The good thing is they've got it staked out. And so I've really pounded between the stakes and the road, or the edge of the lip. And
right. Thanks for setting up a grid pattern for me.
Where I found all this stuff is like in one small area, and that's why I'm saying it's the backyard. You can see where the daylilies are up front, and they were little shacks that they lived in. And where I'm finding everything is on the edge of the stakes. So there's this big pile of kudzu, and I'm praying they wipe it out so that I can get in there.
Right, yeah, hopefully. I mean, that's always been kind of a pain for you in that location.
So it's actually a godsend that they've removed anywhere from 2 to 10 inches. And then they're kind of running over other areas and knocking the brush down, which is nice because I found some, buttons in there. So I'm just going to cry when I go by, and every day if they're bulldozing up there.
Yeah, because if they were grading, 6 or 8, 2 to 6 or 8 inches of ground off.
Yeah.
There's a lot of targets that you've missed, and that's already been carried on to somewhere else, probably.
Yeah, well, I can tell you that engine and the cross canyons were 6 to 8 inches down.
Nice. And have you,
Yeah.
I know you've posted that on a number of groups, which everybody's told you, obviously, it's Cross Cannon Pen, but has anybody mentioned a potential time frame or anything like that?
Well, I've heard some people have said it may be a reenactors, and I'm thinking there are no Civil War sites near here where there would be a reenactor. So unless this person brought it from, it just, that don't make sense. I've looked at them online, and it's got gold gilt on it. It is thin. It's not brass. It sounded wonky, and when I pulled it out, I couldn't, the sunlight's looking, and I'm like looking at it going, that's interesting. I wonder what it is, but I was finding stuff, so I wasn't going to spend a lot of time on it. So I took a picture and posted it on Facebook, and went about my business. And then I come home and I'm like, are you kidding? Are you kidding? And so some people are saying pre-Civil War, some are saying Civil War. Kim Cox, who's a good friend of mine from digging in Virginia, he said it looks exactly like the one that he dug at Brandy Rock.
Nice. Well,
so
and just because there weren't Civil War reenactments or anything near your area, you know, these people, maybe whoever lost it, had went through the Civil War and brought the items home with them, or, you know, something like that as to how it came to be where you found it.
Well, the thing is I am in the area of the Trail of Tears. So there, if you go 5 miles this way, 10 miles that way, there is known Civil War activity because of the Trail of Tears. And prior to that, I know that there are pictures at the old courthouse is now, it's beautiful, is now the library. They restored it, and they have pictures of Civil War guys going off to war taken in front of the courthouse. So there were folks in this area that went to the war. So I don't know.
Absolutely.
You know, I posted it on American Digger ID Me, and some people are like, I've already commented on this on other pages. They were kind of rude.
I saw that.
And I had posted, you know, Anita, I had asked her, can you have Butch please look in? She goes, he's just going to be jealous. I said, no, I really need to know, is this period? Is it pre? Is it, you know, what? And he came back today and said, post it there, and he was going to have some people look at it. I just want to be sure. You know, I don't want to sit here and say, hey, I've dug some Civil War, you know, cross cannons, and somebody go, no, you're wrong, you know.
Right. And here you've been traveling to Virginia all these years, and you could have found it right in your own backyard, practically.
I mean, it's literally 1 mile from my house.
Right. Yeah. Look at all the money you've spent.
and Kim made that point. He said, Barb, we go to Virginia, and I found my first breastplate 1 mile from my house in Pennsylvania. He lives in Allentown. And he's like, so don't judge that it isn't because of where you found it.
Exactly. Never say never. I can't tell you how many times people around here in Ohio have been like, oh, I wish I could be lucky enough to go to Virginia and dig a belt plate or a breastplate or something like that. And they find it right here in Ohio in the middle of some field that they never would have expected to find it, because once the war was over, these people came home.
Exactly. And the thing is, I had taken my tokens and my finds, my case. I'm on case number 2. And, I found 2 heel taps or toe taps. They got nails in them and they're curved, and I'm pretty sure they're boot taps. Whether they're for heels or toes, I don't know. But I found 2 yesterday, and one of them was right there in the area where I found everything else.
Right. And you're going, how could I have missed these items? I've been over this.
I have hit this place, but like I said, they took, it's on the top end of the hill, so they only took like 2 inches off. And I think that 2 inches just because of when you literally put the shovel in the dirt, it's red, but
right. It's
speckled with black. You can see all the little black dots, and that's why when you're going over it, you're hearing ding, ding, and I would bet most people wouldn't have dug half of the signals I dug this weekend because they would have said, oh, that's garbage.
Well, but look at the time that you've spent on that site already, getting to know your environment. So
probably 200 hours easy.
Yeah, so when you go over it, you're hearing those nuances, and you're going, "Wait a minute, there's something good there. It's more than just mineralization or iron."
Right. No, Earl's like, how's that go? It's like, ding,
I figured somebody
ding.
was going to say something.
But really, it's, I think the only reason I'm finding what I'm finding is because of the hours in this terrible red clay speckled with tons of iron.
Right. Absolutely. But you're still pulling finds out. You keep putting in the time. Sure, you're going to have to work for it, but, you still, some of these sites that are worked over or highly mineralized or highly trashy, you put the time in, and many times you find that it's going to be a chore, but you're going to be rewarded for your effort.
But you know what? They said it was going to be 54. I think it hit 58 today with the clouds. It hit about 56 yesterday. I had my long johns under my camis, and I had my Dirt Pirate hoodie, and the stake that the wooden stake they put in place, which is the top line of where they're going to bulldoze. I hung my hoodie on there yesterday. My bottles I threw under my hoodie so I wouldn't forget the bottles. But all the good stuff is like within 8 feet either way around this stake. And so I'm just hoping they clear out that kudzu, because I know there's more stuff in there.
Absolutely. Keep following that line.
And because it's got to be the back steps. It's got to be. And it's funny because all the tokens and the Indian and the Chinese coin I found at the house site probably 8 houses away. You can see the foundation in a lot of these places. And they haven't cleared here where I can see the foundations. But all that stuff I found at the front door in the lilies,
right,
just like 2 to 3 feet in front of the foundation. And so this stuff I'm finding further up the road at the back end of the houses.
Well, nothing wrong with that. Check all your available options and opportunities.
But it was a great weekend. The blue mason jar, I mean, the token, and 8 people have decided the token is 8 different things. It says not for amusement only. No, for amusement only, and on the other side it says no cash value. And
right, sounds like a gaming token.
And somebody said it's for the illegal slot machines back in the early 1900s.
Yeah, that could be a possibility, I guess.
And it was funny because when I dug it, I'm like, coin, round. And then when the dirt fell out of the middle of it, I went, washer. And I thought, no. I was like, let me rub it on my pants. When I rubbed it, I seen words, and I went, okay, it's not a washer, it's a token.
Right.
So it was, I think this was the best weekend I've had in a long time. It was, and I'm just going to keep hitting it till they're done doing what they're doing. I wish they had left the keys in the bulldozer, because if they had, I would have bulldozed that big kudzu pile. But I figured I'd probably go to jail for that, so I opted not.
Yeah, probably better to stay on the side of caution there. We've got Chuck on with us, too.
Uh-oh.
How's it going?
All right.
Hi, Chuck.
Oh, like you had a good couple days there, Barbie.
I'm going to tell
That's
you what.
good.
Friday, I said I'm going to go metal detecting Saturday because Sunday's going to be really cloudy. And after yesterday, I got home. I was like, I'm getting up early. I got to clean the house, do my laundry, and I'm going back digging.
Right.
There you go. Now, when you found that, did you even look at any kind of ID number on the screen?
What do you mean?
Head? I know you're using a days, but you generally get a number for what you're digging.
Well, like I said, the Indian rang up 54 and then 70.
Okay.
Yeah, the iron was dragging it down.
There was an 8-inch spike in the hole with it. And when I found that, I'm like, bummer. And then I went, no, swing it again. And I got, bing. And I'm like, okay, there's still.
What was that?
It was like, bing. And, and I got my pinpointer out, and I found it was a tack. And I said, swing over it again. And that Indian was just sung like a bird. And when I found, I was like, I knew I had Cody. If I'd had his phone number, I would have called him.
There you go.
Right.
Sounds like a good time. Now let's go back to the cross cannons. Are they a real light material versus heavily built?
They're maybe
thin?
I'd say they're less than maybe an eighth of an inch thick, maybe.
That sounds like as they progress with the materials they use for insignias and things. Let's go back to the Revolutionary War. I got a regimental number this past summer. That thing, you wouldn't think you'd want to wear the hat it was on because it was so heavy. They made them smaller, they made them thinner as they progressed through the 1840s and then up to pre-Civil War. So if it's the thinner material, like you find some Civil War items, that kind of gives you an idea as dating by the thickness and how heavy, and was it plated, which evidently it was.
It was.
And things like that. And it looks like the plating survived better on that piece than some of them I've seen from the Civil War. It was done very well. So it may predate that. I put a picture over to Don to see if he could ID it. I didn't get a hold of Steve Silva, but I've got Steve's book upstairs idea. I've got a couple books looking for that, and I don't find that particular style in the Civil War period, so that was making me think it's earlier.
Well, if it's earlier, that's good as long as it ain't later.
Well, the large cross cannon stopped somewhere in around the 1870s a bit, so I'm thinking I still think it's pre-Civil War, but I'm guessing. I don't have it in hand, and I'd take a picture and send it to Steve, and there's a guy with a wealth of knowledge, and he's got people that can idea like you wouldn't believe, and but that's an awesome find. That's worth 100 Indian head pennies.
Even if you find out that it's older than the Civil War or whatever, it's still a very cool find nonetheless.
It has a little bit of weight to it. I mean, just because it's small, and I probably what I need to do is measure it and weigh it, and that might help.
It might help. Is there any pin left on it?
And I did look at pictures online, and on the front where the cannon cross, there's like a little symbol there. And my symbol is exactly like the ones online. Okay.
It's just without having it in hand, that's one thing, and IDing certain things to a time period. They span, military spans a long time, and they changed here and there and things like that. So that's cool. No matter what, that's cool.
It was. It's one of those things that I found, and I kind of looked at it and went, it looks familiar, but I'm getting too many good signals. And then when I went to put it in my pouch, I went, where can I put this where I won't break it?
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, it looks familiar, but I'm finding so many good signals. There's plenty of time for looking things over after the dig.
Yeah, and so I normally just chuck everything in. I have the Gray Ghost pouch, and so it's got the middle, and then I have my little cheat book with all my settings in the low pocket, and I stuck it in there with my cheat book and went, it'll be fine there, and I'll
I
know
hope.
where it is. Yeah, and I can tell you when I got back to my car, that was the first thing I went, where is it? Took it out and put it in the back of my car and went, you just sit right there till I get home. Yeah, with my blue bottle. And so I didn't have any idea what it was till I got home and I pulled up Facebook. And there's like 40-something comments going, you go, excellent find. And I'm like, oh my God, did I really just do this?
There you go.
Right, yeah. I mean, I know Bill and I had both seen it and automatically had recognized it, but figured, well, at that point, might as well just comment good job or whatever, because plenty of other people have already told her what she's got.
Yep.
I was shocked. I sat literally at my computer reading comment after comment, and I'm like, are you sure? You know, do you really think so? You know, and it just, I mean, numerous people, Craig, Tally, and Kim Cox, and a couple other people like, no, Barb, you've got what we're saying you got.
Right, and Barb's just sitting there going, OMG.
Actually, it was more like, I won't say it. It was worse than that.
Right.
And I even...
Well, your jar that you found, was it embossed at all?
It is an aqua. It says ball, perfect mason. It is no scratches, no dings, no chips.
Wow.
And
Nice.
it's
That's
aqua.
fun, too.
And it's early, and it's fine. This is an omen. I went to Goodwill only because I ordered Mexican, and it's right next door. And I thought, well, might as well go to Goodwill. And I found a ton of nice things I can use in my pictures. And here are these 2 antique mason jar lids with $2 each on it. And I said, I'm going to buy one of those. So I bought just one of the 2. And then I find the jar I'm going to put it on.
Maybe you should have bought them both.
Oh, dang.
Well, we get a lot of mason jars out here, and the reason being, on some of these old farmsteads you go to, there's generally a huge oak or two out in the yard there, and you start getting the ball jar lids and broken jars, and occasionally a full jar. That's where they did their canning. They didn't do the canning in the house late in the summer. They did it outside, keep the heat out, and more room to work.
I have probably found 15 mason jar lids, and most of them have the white milk glass, and I've been piling them up because I'm going to make something out of them. I love them. I think they're cool. So I think I've got this big piece of driftwood, and I think I'm going to hang them all from the driftwood.
Yes, usually when I find them, the zinc is so badly deteriorated that about all that's left is the milk glass insert. So I do keep the inserts. But
so that's what I'm saying. I'm going to drill the inserts and make like a wind chime.
There you go.
Well, that'll be a bunch of busted glass in a week.
No, actually it won't. If you do it properly, they will not break, because I have a wind chime I made from scallop shells 20 years ago, and I hang it at the back of my porch, and so it moves a little bit, and you hear the shells hit each other. They have never broke, but if I hung it on the front of the porch, it would have been trashed in 3 months.
Right. Exactly.
There you go.
Oh, and I found a cool spigot today. And I know it's old because it had to be a faucet in a sink. But it's only got the one knob.
I saw that. That's brass.
It rang up really, really good.
I'll bet it did.
I was shocked when I dug it. It's got a white bone handle, and I'm like, this is going to become yard art of something.
There you go. Nothing wrong with that.
You got all kinds of projects you're building up on there. When I first looked at it, glanced at it, I thought, I wonder if she got a barrel plug, a barrel unit, and it wasn't. Some of those that you find are solid brass. They'll have a Well, they go in the bung, and they just plug in there, and those are neat. They're highly collected.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, I think it's a kitchen faucet or
There you go.
a pump house faucet or something.
Yep.
Right.
But it's cool.
Nothing else. You can wait till the price of metal goes up.
No,
Throw
it's
it in the bucket and cash it in.
No, it's too pretty. I'm going to make something. I'll make some yard art, and it will end up on my yard art, and it'll hang out in my garden.
Well, that sounds like a good plan. If you do happen to throw it to the scrap heap, though, make sure and watch what bucket you throw it into, because chances are good there's a possibility that could be red brass.
Well, I'll check it. It's actually soaking in a bucket with all of my bottles.
Oh, nice. Well, there you go.
Ohio Relic Hunter says he's going to give you 2 more years, or your yard's going to look like the back lot of Sanford and Sons.
It may, and it's okay.
Already?
It's my yard.
Well, yeah, no debating there. You can't argue that.
I'll tell you what. I live next door. He's a very good friend of mine to an auctioneer, and they run some big auctions. Leftovers are brought back. His wife goes through it all, and then they're set out front. And he actually puts it out where my wife can see this pile of stuff. I'm serious. I'll come home and I look out, and there's another pile of projects. I'm looking at her going, really? I mean, come on. So I've had some unusual projects show up. Some got done, and some happened just one time disappear. Don't know. I think the wind got it.
Well, I have this project I'm working on, and I told Josh about it, but I'm not going to tell you about it.
Oh, no, you didn't. I'm not getting pulled into this one. I know nothing.
But I'm going to start. I'm on call Saturday. So if I don't have to work, I can't go far. So I can't go digging and be on call. So I'm going to hang out and work on that project we talked about.
There you go. There you go. But, going back to what you're saying, you're finding these coins in about one strip of an area. If you went back on the maps and get into looking back at the early maps of your area, Barb, and see if there was something more there at one time? Was there an old road, a trail bed up there? Was there, that kind of stuff? It might open up a little more to your detecting. And then a couple of the guys mentioned there earlier, when those dozers push that stuff over, you best be hitting the spoil piles.
Absolutely.
Well, being in the mountains, our maps go back to 1961. I mean, you can look at Civil War maps, but they're so out of proportion that because of the mountains. But for a good map, the 1960s, that's it.
Now, is this through historical aerials or old plat maps or county atlas?
Yeah.
Or?
I went through the old plat maps, and I've checked out like 3-4 different sites. And you put in our area, we were incorporated 1850, but there ain't a whole lot of maps.
Maybe
I do have this old timer I need to go talk with, but I need to take a southerner to go with me because I can't understand him.
You need a translator.
I need a translator. Because he was telling me where the old Indian trails were out of Silver, and I tried to find him, and I'm like, I think that may be it, but I really need someone to go with me because, it's like, go over here and over there, and I'm like, okay, yeah, sure, I got that.
Well, another good place is your county courthouse, Barb.
Yeah, I gotta go there.
And they will have Now, they won't be exacting, some of them, but the earliest maps of your area that are generally in the courthouse, also tax rolls will tell you a lot. And there'll be some maps and things with that. So, but you may have had something up and above you along that house road there that you don't know if you had some sort of encampment. You talk about the Trail of Tears going through there. That in itself is something that
very
is awesome.
Significant.
Very significant. So you've got a good area there, and it doesn't surprise me if the Trail of Tears went through there, and there was movement and things going on through that you found that piece you found.
Absolutely.
Okay, that makes sense.
We find Civil War artifact here. The only reason being we're just above the Rock Island Arsenal a little ways, and there was troop camped up and down through here. There was also just in Albany, there was a training camp. Different things has come up. I mean, I went to Virginia the one year, and or actually Montpelier, and they had a couple of guys from the club went out there, and while we were on the way out there, a guy in Port Byron, Andy Rogers, dug one of the most beautiful Civil War breastplates you ever saw right in Port Byron. So it comes up, it's there. There's been a lot of U.S. buckles found in the Quad City area. No CS, but I'm sure if you could ever get on the Rock Island Arsenal, that had a big Confederate prisoner of war camp on there.
Oh, there you go.
But
yeah,
getting on that site.
I'd like to go back to Montpelier if you promise trees will not fall on me this time.
That I can't promise. They, I don't know why that tree decided to pick on you at that moment. You must have made it mad.
Right. Yeah, apparently you did something you shouldn't have.
It ruined my day because I was like, should I go down to the Archie place first? And I'm like, no, let's do the tour and do all that. It was pouring. It had been sleeting. I mean, when I left, people were, Jewel and Tracy were like, you're not going out in this, Barb. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to Montpelier. And they're like, be careful. Cause I had my Yaris. I didn't even have my RAV4. I had my Yaris. And I'm like, nope, I'm good. And I'm just cruising out there, and it's sleeting and raining and sleeting. And I literally was not in that building 3 minutes. I opened one drawer. I looked at everything. I'm like, this is so cool. I closed it, opened the second drawer, and bam, and the dust is falling from the ceiling, and the lights are falling, and I'm like, what's going on?
Right, running around. We're all going to die.
There you go.
I got
Sounds
out.
like you made Dolly Madison upset.
Obviously, and I went outside, and we were like, oh, wow, look at this big tree. And they're like, we're going to have to close. I went, no, please, I really want to see everything. And they're like, we're going to have to close to be safe. And I went, this isn't fair. I want a rain check.
Right. You need to back away from the building slowly.
Yep. So, and I was out there last summer for a couple days, and some of the stuff that's recently come up is phenomenal, and they keep adding to it. And it's a hands-on center in there. You can pick stuff up, look at anything you want, except for the mended plates and that kind of stuff. They keep that all in case. But they had drawers you can open up, like Barb says, and the phenomenal finds they've made there is just.
Oh, it's like a massive dresser that goes from one wall to the other with 80 drawers that are, on one side they're 2-3 inches deep. On the other side they're 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 inches. And I just looked at that and went, I'm going to be here for hours. Wrong. But I will get back there. I just
wanted you to know you found your Indian head. Those cross cannons are cool, and everything else. It's about time you had a good day. It sounds like.
Right.
It is, and it's when that lady stopped and she's like, "Well, are you finding anything?" And I went, "Yeah." The sad thing is is once these bulldozers take over, it's gone to us forever.
Right.
And she just looked at me like I had two heads. She didn't get it.
Well, that's because a lot of times they don't.
No. And Bill, Ohio Wreck Hunter asked, are those blueprint cabinets? Those particular cabinets, they're similar, but they're actually made for this purpose. They're out of, it's an aluminum. Some are shallow, great length, just like a blueprint, but others are compartmented, and they've got different things. They were actually built custom for archaeological labs.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
It's like the one drawer I opened probably had 50 squares, and it's like a button here, but the cool thing is it tells you where that button was found and what era it is. And then there's, a fork tongs, and it tells you what fork it was and what era it was. And so the one drawer, I was probably there 15, 20 minutes because I read everything in that first drawer I opened and just stood there going, this is freaking amazing. I mean, this stuff dates back to how long? And it has plastic over it, plexiglass, so you can't pick things up. But
on the iron drawers, they don't have that. You can pick up some of the iron relics and look at them. They're not too concerned with those.
Yeah, I didn't get to that point.
Right, a tree got in the way.
Yeah.
Yes, it did.
That was like 100-foot freaking tree.
Yeah, it was a big one.
It wasn't a little
That's
tree.
a hard way to meet and make friends there, Barb. You might walk in and somebody remembers you. Hey, there's that lady when the tree fell.
Yeah.
Right. They're liable to say, excuse me, you need to leave.
Well, if I ever go back, I'm going to say I'd like my ticket at half price. And if
There you go.
And if she says, excuse me, I'm going to say, because you juked me, the tree fell on the lab when I was there, and you closed it on me, and I only got to open one drawer, so I'd like to open the rest for half price.
There you go. Well, Barb, congrats on your Indian head. Now you got to work for a 2-center, a TREME, all those kind of great things, and maybe a large silver along the way.
You know what? I've never found a $50 or a silver dollar. I've never found.
There you go.
I'll tell you what I have found. I have one large cent. I have a seeded dime, a barber dime, of course, Rosies and Mercs, Injuns, Buffaloes, and that's it.
Well,
you'll get more. Get used to a machine and start plugging away with it, and you'll get more.
Right. Get them headphones paired back up to the Equinox. You'll get more.
I'm going to be honest. I do not have a bucket list. I have a what I'll never find list. And so when I take something off that list, which I had found a buffalo
it's a
before,
good day.
It's a good day because I'm never going to find this. And so I'm, you know what? Even if I don't find anything, I've spent hours at this property and come away with one little button, a pajama button or a long john button. And there's days I've come away with 2-3 tokens. But I love metal detecting. And it's days like this that really make you want to keep doing it. Which I would do it even if I didn't have these days because it's the best de-stressor in the world. And, I mean, I had people honking at me when they went by, and I'm like, hey, how you doing? Have no clue who you are, and I'm sure there are people like, look, there's somebody up there trying to find stuff,
Mm-hmm.
Right. And never say never. I mean, you just never know.
Oh,
you just never know. I mean, it's about the time you got this crappy signal, and then you turn one way, you hear one thing, you hear another. I got to dig this, you dig it, and just like what happened to you, there it is. And
Well-
one of these days it's going to be a GW button for me. That's. I never say I will never find it. It's just how and when.
Right, it's just a
And,
matter of when.
It's
right,
when. And I
a
pray
few
you
other
find
things
one.
that I would love to find, and some things are. Well, I'm aiming at a larger 20. I want a $20 gold piece. I want to say I found that. That kind of stuff. But
Well, I'm going to tell you what, Chuck. If I ever find a GW button, it's yours. 'Cause
there you go. No,
because now I'll
I
find
will
one.
find it.
Now I'll find one. And,
There you go. That'll happen.
It just may take her 2 years to do it.
yeah.
That doesn't matter. Hopefully we all got the time to say it's going to take us 2 years, and we get out and go do what we love to do and do some more research. And I mean, I found some things I never thought I would find. I had no idea I would find them. I found some amazing things, and I found things that just make you scratch your head, go, wow, why did I even, well, I've got a Model A radiator, but what came out of that, I was looking on a farmstead where the gentleman had worked at the arsenal during World War I, and they were taking casings from fired rounds. They tested guns on there, and they'd take the casings home and turn them into everything from ashtrays to toys. Then they got nervous toward the end of the war. They were going to get in trouble for this, so he took all what he made as side art and buried it on the farm. So they had me looking for this, and I never did come across that. I don't know if it was ever put down on the farm, but that's what they thought. I found a Model A radiator. But what was neat was on the top of that radiator, believe it or not, was one of those glass temperature gauges that came right out of the radiator cap. It was 100% complete.
Cool.
Very cool.
I could not believe that thing survived, but it did. I cleaned it up, had it around, and a friend of mine's into old cars and that, and he stopped and he's looking at that. He said, "Where'd you get that?" I said, "I dug it." And I cashed in on the radiator when I had a chance, sold that off as scrap, and I just kept that radiator cap. I ended up getting a pretty nice chunk of change out of the radiator cap.
Oh, yeah, those things are very collectible.
Well,
So I'm not, those type of things, I could be as bad as my wife, just fill my house up with stuff. It just sits here, nobody does nothing, but I will, things like that. I've found all kinds of neat stuff. So you just don't know, Barb, that faucet, clean it up. I mean, that's a neat find.
Absolutely.
Well, here's the funny. I got this screaming signal, but it kind of, that grunt. And I started digging. I found the property marker.
Oh, cool.
Well, now you know where you stand.
I was like...
Yeah, exactly.
When I looked at it, I went, I ain't digging that. It was huge. No. It's old. It's not a new marker. It's like a really old marker. And I left it exposed because I'm like, they might want to know where somebody's property ends here.
Right.
But I did do a good thing yesterday. I have had stuff in my car for over a month waiting for my neighbors. And either it's dark when I get home and I don't want to impose, or they're not home. And when I came home yesterday, I went by and I knocked. And I said, I got some stuff for your husband. And so he's got to come out because I ain't giving it to you. And Amber said, Jody, come out. And so Jody came out, and I said, I got some stuff for you. And I handed him this big old, I think it's a Michigan axe. I said, this is for you. I restored it. And he said, where'd you find it? And I said, right outside your grandpa's barn down there. And he said, are you kidding me? I said, no. I said, but I got this little box for you too. And I opened it. I said, that's the flat button I found out in your grandpa's field. And that's somebody's wedding band. And you told me the day I found it to keep it because you said it was just a copper, like, round washer. And he looked at me and I said, I took it home, I cleaned it up, and I put it under my magnifying glass, and it's got a hallmark in it, and there's gold in it. So it is a ring that once was gold plated.
Cool.
And he
Nice.
said, "You're kidding me." And I said, "No, I found it." His house dates to 1910 or 11, and behind his house was a house that dates to the early 1800s. I said, "I found it on the back side of where the house would have been. Your daughter was with me when I found it." I said, "There for you." And he was like, "Thank you so much."
Very nice.
Very nice.
Very cool.
Now I got a question, Barb. You're down there. Are you in the mountains around you? Is that privately, all privately owned, or is there BLM land there or parkland?
There are tons of parkland, and I'm pretty sure that Camp 10, which I want to hit, but I had a little scare today. My dog got lost up in the mountain, and I went up the mountain, and I thought it was a tent, and I went and got my neighbor, and they came up, and it turns out it's a hunting blind, and we got a hold of the owner, and the owner confirmed that he gave someone permission to do that. So I feel better because I thought I had squatters up above my house. But
Ooh.
it's really bad here because it's like you can drive a mile and hit State Park and then drive another half mile and you're out of it. And then you're back in it. And
Right.
so
there's got to be some old cellar holes up in those hills. And,
there
Absolutely.
are.
and if you
and
follow
there's-
guys like Dave Wise and some of those guys out east, that's what they hunt. They go out and they look for those cellar holes, and that's where they're pinging. And you're in an area that it wouldn't surprise me to find things that date back pre-Revolutionary War and right up the War 1812 and the history that's traveled through your area. Just a little more research, you could put yourself on some pretty good spots.
Absolutely.
The problem is I'm not from here, and the minute I open my mouth, these old timers know it.
Yeah, you got that accent going yet.
Well,
It doesn't fit theirs, I'll guarantee you.
Right.
It don't. And I live on Caney Fork we're unincorporated community, and Caney Fork goes for over 10 miles. And at the end of it is Camp 10. But it's on the very edge of, I think it's right before the state forest or it's right into the state forest. And I know guys have metal detected up there, but it's getting somebody to go with me. After today, finding that tent up there, I was like, I should have never been in the woods without my gun. And so I tried to get somebody to go hunting with me today. I was like, dude, I'm going to hit the lumber company. Why don't you come with me? And it's like, I can't. I got to watch the kids. I'm like, whatever. And so there was camp 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's finding them. But I know where Camp 10 is. And
There you go.
it's up on Bumpy Butt. They call it Bumpy Butt because it's like big boulders that if you've got a really raised four-wheel drive, you can get up there. But it's getting somebody to go up there with me because
Oh, there you go.
I mean, I was hunting today, and I was up on this big pile of dirt, and these three hobos, and I mean, they're hobos, they're not from here, they got backpacks, they're walking on the wrong side of the road, and one of them comes across the road and starts coming up toward me, and I freaking booked. I grabbed my stuff, and I was like, headed toward, civilization, because I'm down in this big holler. And I finally stopped and I looked back and he grabbed some like green fronds and went back across the road. And I'm like, okay, but it was weird. So I'm like, I just need somebody that talks Southern to go with me and, hit some of these places.
Always good to hunt with a buddy. Keep at it. You'll find one.
There you go.
Well,
No,
the one
that-
I had a hunting buddy,
Yes,
and
you do.
he went with me a couple times, and I out hunted him, and now he never goes with me, and I'm like, I'm sorry.
No, you're not.
No. Well, I'm going to back out of here, Barb. Congrats on the penny and all the others that you found. But the artillery piece is phenomenal. And that's a nice find. So good on you. And just a reminder, I think Josh said something about it earlier. We got that Simplex raffle going for the I&I Club and
That's right.
the hunt and the
We also
flyer.
have,
The meet and greet that night will be up shortly too.
and I hope I can make it. I'm not sure if I can.
That's all right.
But
we would love to have you.
You know, my mom's going to be 86, and I have to go home and see her. And I just don't know if I can go all the way over there and then go all the way back to Massachusetts. So,
Yeah, understood.
But you know,
But if you do get out, you're going to probably meet Mike Laclement. Going into the Ohio Bills, and we got a lot of others coming now. Mark Hoover's talking it, so there's some others that we're waiting on to announce a little later. Schedules are one thing, and there's only so many weekends.
you know that.
Mm-hmm. So, but we would love to have you all come out and have a good time with us. And Barb, out here, if you get up on top of tractor, you can see for miles.
Yeah, you can't hear. You can see to the next mountain, and that's it here.
Right.
So, further south, when you get down around Galesburg, yeah, there's some spots where there's a few little hills, if you want to call them that. For the rest part, as you get down to the center of the state, it's flat.
Well,
So,
I wish
but you
y'all
guys have a good night. Go find some more, Barb. Keep working that strip, and get down to the county sometime if you're off on a weekday. Get in there and talk to them. And the other thing, there's got to be a historical society around you somewhere.
It's the size of like my back shed, but yeah, we have one, but they ain't even got a web page, okay?
Right.
Oh, okay. Well, you're down in the good old boy lands. That's what it sounds like, and I've run into that from time to time. Some Yankee guy wanting to metal detect and look for Civil War stuff, and they kind of
sometimes it's not necessarily very well received.
Nope. But then there's been others that I've gotten along with great, and it opened up some more stuff for us to hunt on. So it's just catch as catch can, and you'll find your way through that. But I would highly recommend when you get up, if you do get up in those hills, like you said, take somebody with you, tell somebody where you're at, and when you plan to be back, and that kind of stuff. Do the safe side of it all. I mean, for the most part out here is I'm going to go over to the park for a while today, or I'm heading down to so-and-so's house. He's got a place for me to hunt. I just picked up 4 old cellar holes up in an area that's not too awful far from here. That's a pretty good timber area that I knew of the cellar holes, but I asked him, he's going to let me go. I just got to watch myself because the boys will be turkey hunting about the time I want to go out and detect. So I don't want to catch a load of buckshot.
No, not that. That's not a good way to go.
But and Mike says that's why we're called the Prairie State. I'm not going to say the rest of it. You can read that.
Well, on a good note, this is funny. Where I'm hunting, if you look at the old pictures from the 1920s, the lumber company housing was on both sides of the gravel road. And I'm only allowed to hunt on one side because the state took it by eminent domain. And the guy, that's where I'm hunting. It's all state property, so I can hunt it. And On the other side of the gravel road is this huge cornfield belongs to this old guy. And his son-in-law told me a year or two ago, don't you be hunting on that side of the road? And I said, no, sir. He actually told me I couldn't metal detect the road. And I said, but sir, you don't own the road. And he says, I own to the middle. I said, it's a state road. I can metal detect, but if you don't want me to, I won't. I waved back to him. I was like, hi. And I thought, ooh, we may be getting closer here. Because
you never know.
He owns where the lumber company building was and where the house is on the other side. And so when he waved, I was shocked, but then I was like putting up my hand going, hey, hi, come back.
There you go. Well, keep working on him. Maybe you'll break him down if you show him what you're doing a little bit. And you're going to have to put your sweet side on. Can you do that?
Yep, I can do that.
There you go.
Maybe I need to show up with my prize-winning apple pie to his house and go, can we, make amends and be happy?
There you
go. There you go. Apple pie and chocolate chip cookies go a long way.
Right.
But I was shocked.
You guys have a great night. I'm going to get out of here.
All right. Thanks, Chuck.
You too, Chuck. Thanks for the call.
See you, Josh. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. I was really shocked he waved to me. I don't know if it was just like a reflex or what, but I was like, oh my God, he waved. Let me wave back.
Right? Might as well. Never hurts. Never hurts.
So, I'm hoping that they don't destroy the property by next weekend. I'm hoping that he comes by, that I can say, hey, can we talk? And maybe sit down and talk to him and tell him, you know what, this history is just rotting in the ground. Will you just let me see if I can find something?
Right. Never hurts to try. I mean, the worst they can do is say, no, it's still no.
Yeah. And what he's probably going to, it's something Young company, because the state don't do their own roads no more. They subcontract it. So it's this M. Young company doing it all. And one of the guys came out one day, because they have a trailer there, and he's like, you finding anything? And I said, oh yeah. And they're cool with me hunting there. And he says, yeah. I said, I really want to hunt over there, and pointed to the cornfield. He said, oh, one of our guys has an AT Pro, has a metal detector, and he went over there. I said, what kind? Do you know? And he said, an AT Pro. I said, an AT Pro ain't going to find your crap in this soil. Because I used mine, and I didn't find nothing. And I came in with my Deus, and I killed it. And so I don't know if that's his thing, is, oh, they didn't find anything, so nobody else is gonna. When, if you don't know the dirt, yeah, you could go out there and swing all day and you ain't gonna find nothing.
Well, and it's been my experience, like around here, a lot of times they'll tell you that just to discourage you, so you don't go in and find it.
True. And so on the other side of the road, you can see all the daylilies and daffodils and all that, and I'm like, my goal is to eventually get him to let me metal detect that dang cornfield.
Right. Well, you may be getting closer.
I hope so. Well, I appreciate you having me on, Josh. We ran a little over, but it was an awesome freaking weekend.
Yes, it was. And I guess disclaimer, in case you get any messages or not, I know I've seen a few comments of some people saying, looks like it was a stellar weekend when I dropped the link for the show, because there's also a World War I era altered dog tag in that post too. So I don't know if people think that you made that find or that I recently made that find, but just to be transparent, I guess, that it is my find. It's not a recent find. That's a find that was made a while back.
No, it was a killer one.
Yeah, it certainly leaves a person with more questions than answers, but it is a unique find, that's for sure. And the reason why that came to be is because I was having a conversation with somebody the other night and somehow got on the topic of it and couldn't find it. And sometimes I couldn't find it in my albums on Facebook, and sometimes that's because I get on these kicks where I'm not posting up what I'm finding, or I'm not posting up all of what I'm finding, and apparently that was during one of those kicks, and it's like, well, that probably really should be posted up there. So we rectified that last night, and went ahead and included it in the post today.
Well, I will eventually get all my finds cleaned up and make a nice post, and I will have a video coming out, because I did have my camera with me yesterday. Unfortunately, I didn't today, but it was a stellar week. I can't wait to go to work, because you know what? My boss is going to say, so how was everyone's weekend? And I'm going to look at him and go, I freaking finally found an engine. Oh, wait, maybe the wrong thing to say.
Right. Well, there you go. Definitely.
Because I work with a whole lot of them.
Exactly.
But
Either
now
way,
I don't know what to wish for next.
a gold coin, the way it sounded from the beginning of the show.
Yeah, okay, Bill, we're on $20, whoever finds one first. But remember, I am going to Virginia the end of next month, so I might have a better chance than you do.
Well, don't be surprised if you get tagged in a post because Chuck finds one along the way.
If Chuck finds one, I would just jump up and down for him. Oh, and I found the dilemma on the thing I'm making. It's for you, Chuck. I actually opened one of my craft drawers and went, OMG, that's exactly what I need. I'll let you know what that is, but it will work perfect for the top of the you-know-what.
Nice. Very cool.
Yeah. I was like, yes! The Lord works in mysterious ways.
Right? Yeah, absolutely. Well, I guess we probably should get on out of here then. It's, unfortunately, it's going to be another week of things to address here for me, but
what do you got going?
We'll see what goes on. Oh, I'm still tying up some loose ends from our accident a while back, so. But the comments and cards from everyone have been very nice, very thoughtful.
And yeah, I'm sorry for you. I know things it sucks, but you take care. I love you and Tim. I think you're great people. Your show is great, and Dirt Pirates Detecting 5-year anniversary next month, and we are gonna do something Simplex.
Right, gonna be a good time.
And I have a lot of silver coming that I've won, and so we're actually, I think, March 1st, I'm going to shut the door and not allow any new people into the group until we're done celebrating our 5th anniversary.
There you go. Good way to do it. Good way to do it. All right. Well, then I guess we've pretty much got everything covered, I think.
All right. You take care, Josh.
You too. Thanks for the call, Barb.
Bye.
Well, definitely quite the weekend for Barb there. Good to see, definitely. Great call from Chuck and Barb both. Who knows what's happening Wednesday? We'll see. I know I've been throwing some archives in there, but, we've kind of had a lot on our plate lately. So, until the next time, hey, get out there and try to find something if you can. If you can find something, post up those photos. You know how we love to see them. And hopefully we'll see everyone Wednesday. Have a wonderful night, folks. we're out of here.